Hitting F9, what's going on here? Well, we want to figure out when the company received its first delivery of apples. What is all this data here? What's this string of information? Why is it important? What tools are we going to use? We're going to use the COUNTIFS. We're going to come up with some answers. Expanding lists and absolute values. Brad Williams, Excel, primed. This is an area that just can put you into an anger zone. Why? Because we are doing stuff that it's just hard sometimes. What we're going to do is we're going to indicate when the company received its first delivery of apples, okay? And you have all this stuff here and all of these formulas, and we have fruit and dates and retail and our output. What we want to do is, you know, we were doing those running total deals. Well, this is a running total. It's simple, but if you don't set it up correctly, it's going to really anger you. Use the COUNTIF functions and expanding list. Expanding list. In other words, we're going to use the absolute value at the beginning, and then we need to use a relative value in part of this formula. Using the COUNTIFs and expanding lists within a sys column, you can identify the first delivery of fruit in a list. So in other words, we just want to highlight the first time apples were delivered on a particular date. We can use the COUNTIF. Here is where it gets a little bit crazy, if you will. We have this equal to and a plus 0. What are you doing here? When a fruit appears in the list for the first time, the formula returns 1. Subsequent occurrences return true. This formula uses an expanding list with COUNTIFs. Here we go. COUNTIFs, you remember I said absolute value and relative value? There it is. We've done this a zillion times, but we forget. We forget about this absolute, and when we copy this thing down, it blows up on us. And you go, oh, those bloody expanding lists. Those running totals. Well, this is your running total. COUNTIFs B5, B5. As the formula is copied down, the list expands because the first reference is absolute and the second reference is relative. What do I mean? We copy this down, B5, and notice this relative, this B5, first, fine, go down here, and it better be B6, and B6, and so on and so forth, okay? COUNTIF returns the number of fruits up to the specified point in the data. This indicates that the first example of fruit is 1, or the second is 2, because only the first occurrence is relevant. We compare the count to 1. Count B6 equals 1. This expression, all of this stuff here, returns true when the count is 1 and false otherwise. Finally, we add 0 to force a 1 or a 0. True to false, 1 to zeros. Excel converts true and false to the equivalent number 1 and 0. As a result, the fruit in the preceding example is the fruit type. Okay, that's fine. You just have to remember what the heck we're doing. You have to understand what COUNTIF does. And then you just need to know how to convert this stuff over. So if we just look at COUNTIF and get rid of all this other stuff, what happens? Well, we know it's going to throw an error right off. It's going to go fix this. COUNTIF B5, B5. What's happening here? Control down. I'm not going to go too crazy here. Control down. And it's just going 1, 2, 1. What's it doing? It's just COUNTIF B5, B5. COUNTIF is this row. B5, B5, and then B5. What's the criteria? F9 is peach. And what's B5? It's peach. Kind of got that? What's here? What's going on here? We're going to have criteria, F9. We have peach, peach. Our criteria, F9, is peach. And what's COUNTIFs doing? It's going, well, peach, peach. I'm counting those two. Doing its job. It's doing exactly what it's supposed to do. And then here, what do we have? We have 1 cherry. Even though, look at this, F9, we're going to see peach, peach. We should see peach, peach, cherry. Peach, peach, cherry. And then B7 is cherry. See where we're going here? What we want is this. If we have peach, peach, we want to be able to go 1, 0. If we have cherry, 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 we want to go 1, 0, 0. I'm going to back all this stuff up here. I'm going to strip the 0. It's going to say true. And what happens here, you see where we're going here? If we go to this, it goes COUNTIFs, and we know cherry, look here, we're going to go criteria, F9, and we're going to see orange, plum, cherry, and our criteria is cherry. Well, it equals 1. That's true. What's happening just below it? Go down. What happens here? Criteria. Okay, I'm trying to, all right, you see cherry, 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 cherry. What happens here? It should count 3 cherries. Criteria 1, F9, is going to say cherry, cherry, cherry. What's our criteria? Cherry. COUNTIFs, cherry, cherry, cherry is equal to 1. It's not equal to 1. It's equal to 3. What happens here? F9, F9, we get a value. Why? Because it doesn't equal 1. If we go here, and I have to fix a whole bunch of stuff here. Sorry, I screwed everything up. Pause. Highlight this area. Okay, we have peaches here instead of cherries, but you get the point. COUNTIF B5, B5 equals 1. Hit F9. True. I don't screw this thing up. Go down here. We have peach, peach, peach. How many peaches are there? 3. We're looking for this to equal 1. What happens if we highlight COUNTIF to 1? F9. False. Why is this false?
Be sure to check out all of our Excel courses. Excel data and text manipulation. We have an advanced beginners and intermediate course. Excel essentials. This is for individuals new to Excel. We have an advanced, excellent beginners, level 1 and level 2, and intermediate level course. Excel formulas, formulas only. We have a beginner, an advanced, and an intermediate level course. Click on any of the links. There's a short video that explains everything about the course. Check it out.
Time's up. There's 2 peaches. COUNTIF is adding B5 here. Remember, F9. We have peach, peach. We get 2. Do I need to go back and point this out? I will. You see here, it's going to be false, false. F9, F9, false. Why? Get rid of this stuff. Equals. Oh, I don't want that. Don't reset. Don't reset. I need to get rid of this. And I knew that was going to happen. F9. Pause. Let's see if I can see here. We're going oranges. Sometimes this F9 can really be a distraction. You can see COUNTIF is counting 3. What are we trying to do? We're trying to get to 1. You can see why that's false and why this mechanism works. So pretty nifty, or really a pain in the rear. Your definition or your opinion. Yeah, I think it's a pain in the rear, but it serves a purpose. We're going to go back. I'm going to just walk you through this again. We're trying to find the first of whatever fruit. There's no rhyme nor reason here. All we're doing is finding the first one. So you can see plum, plum, well, 0. And then banana, 1. Banana, cherry, peach, 1, 1. Clearly you would have this organized in a logical sequence. The point is you can see, continue hitting F9. You see peach, we see peach. We have a whole bunch of 0 peaches. We have 0 peach. When we look at this thing, and because we're going down and we're using this expanding range, we have banana. What happens to the rest of the bananas? They should turn to 0. And that's where I was leading to this. Peach, this date, it doesn't mean a thing. My interest was if this was in this crazy order, does this formula 0 everything else out? Yes, it does. It does its job. So banana or peach or cherry, everything below it is going to turn to 0. Why? Because we're using this expanding range, and you can see we have B5 here, and we have B17 here. I know this one's going to put you in the anger zone. You know, for some of you, you're just going to go, Brad, it's a snap. But for some, it's going to be, you know, you're going to have to tear it apart exactly like I did. Okay. Read it if you need it. The anatomy, we know exactly what's going on. Brad Williams, Excel Primed.